G'day everybody, it's me again. Got another interesting one here today. It's a Yale air start forklift, flameproof forklift. It has pretty much zero electrics on it at all. There's not even a flashing light, no strobe, nothing, no horn even. It's rather interesting. There's your starter motor. As you can see, it's a big air motor. Sounds like a giant die grinder. I will start it up for you. There's the air compressor to keep the tank full while you're running, because obviously if you don't have any air you can't start it. It does have an air inlet from, you know, like your normal compressor line, so you can fill the tank when it's empty. That water inlet there is for the water tank at the top there, which is for keeping the exhaust wet. We've got a wet exhaust. The exhaust actually passes through water and is bubbled through the water, so it's you know, flame proof. And obviously it drips out the back there. You see a couple of stains from it already. Looks to be a Mazda diesel. Looks very Mazda to me. Yale generally do use Mazda engines, so I'm hoping I'm correct in that regard. About nearly just shy of 9,000 hours on the clock. And we have about 600 kPa in the tank at the moment, so it should be enough to start. I'll have to put the seat down to do that. It's got a 240 volt inlet here for using the glow plugs if you need them when it's cold, of course, but good thing here in Australia, 95% of the time you do not need glow plugs for a diesel. I think I've used the glow plugs in the trucks maybe twice or 3 times in the last 7 years. That's only been when it's been really early in the morning. It's had a hard life. It was at a paint factory. Did a lot of work for them though. I assure you they made their money back on the machine several times over. Things like that, things like this are just interesting to me. It's some kind of, I don't know if that's another kind of water jacket in the exhaust there. I'm not sure where that goes. Sort of just connects pipe to pipe. I wonder if that's just to yeah, I don't know. I wonder if that's to send water through it. Maybe there's a cooling loop or something. Maybe there's a cooling. Feels like there's just a pipe in there. Oh, yeah. I think the pipe in here is actually surrounded with water, so it cools the exhaust before it gets to the exhaust tank. There's nothing too interesting behind there. Usual sort of everything else for a diesel. Looks like maybe, what's that? A fuel cut? Fuel regulator or air pressure regulator? Yeah, air pressure regulator. Oh, that's off the compressor. Yes, compressor unit there. So we'll pop the seat down. And we'll give her a whirl. Tyres on it aren't too bad. Seat's good. We've got all our controls here, looking a bit sad once again, but air pressure for the air start tank, and radiator temperature and oil pressure for the motor. The emergency stop, which is just a fuel cut, and there's a weird little valve here, and I believe when you twist that valve it pushes water from the main tank up the top down to the exhaust tank here. Because there's a funny air system here with the valve or something going on, which leads up to the main water tank. And don't know if there's any water. Ugh. Yeah, that water tank up the top's a bit empty. Looks a bit shit. But here we go. We'll put it in neutral. Handbrake on. Now to start these air start forks, you got to put your foot on the brake, and then you just press the start button. Chug, chug, chug. And then of course, just like any other forklift, that probably helps if I don't try and drive with the handbrake on, doesn't it? Yep, it's a forklift alright with forks, and it lifts. There's everything as far as I can tell is mechanical. There's no electrics at all. So, of course, to stop, there's your stopper, and probably should have pumped the air up again, but we can always fill it up from the compressor if necessary. But yeah, we'll start it again. The sound it makes when it starts is, it's like a giant die grinder. Of course, we can pump the air up again. So interesting watching an air pump, eh? Or should I say a pressure gauge, but I don't know, maybe some people like some gauge porn. There's plenty of oil pressure, about 4 bar. Transmission is still making a few noises. I'll explain that in a minute. Pump this air up again first. That's nearly 700 kPa, 7 bar, that's plenty to start it again. Interesting story about this unit is that we actually bought it as a non-goer. The transmission, it was like it was dead. It wouldn't go forwards or backwards. It felt like it was slipping to me, and I sort of made a face at the old fellow when he bought it, because I thought maybe you know, it might be junk, as in complete junk. But thankfully, after adding about 3 litres of oil to the transmission, then bleeding it a bit, and you can hear it making a couple of air noises still, so it probably still does need a bit of a top up. Torque converters take a couple of litres at least, but anyway, after adding that 3 litres of transmission fluid, and bleeding it a bit, it started moving again, which is good, because yeah, to pull the tranny out of this and to recon it, you know, it's a lot of work, and the rest of the machine's probably not worth that much. So the check valve from the compressor gets a little bit warm when it's pumping it up, so no, the compressor's working fine. We've got a dump valve on the tank, blow all any water and crap that accumulates in the air tank out, which is probably good for it. So it's not too bad, Nick, considering the life it's had. It's had a very harsh life. Suitable for hazardous locations of Class 1, Zone 1, and something else that I can't read due to paint. Oh, it does have a horn. Suppose that counts as a horn. It horns. But yeah, just another interesting beast. I like interesting beasts. I don't like boring machines. I think the more interesting they are, or the more unique they are, the more interested I am in them, actually. It would be a nice toy to keep around, but no, we can't do that. Can't do that. Have to have the cash register ticking sometimes. But yes, not much else to say. Really not much else to say. Just another interesting beast. I want to start it again. I like the sound of it. I really like the sound of it starting. Obviously there's some kind of interlock system. I wonder what happens if you crank it with that. Oh, there's all the air pressure gone. So obviously it needs a hell of a lot of air to drive that starter, and you don't get many chances at it. That tank's only small. Yeah, so I think that's about it for this one. You guys can comment on it, tell me what you think. Maybe there's some secrets about these machines that I don't know. Maybe you guys can tell me something. Anyway, that's enough for this one. Thanks for watching.